Okay, hello everybody. So one of the things I always love to do, for whatever reason, is compare an original retail release of a game between a remaster release of a game. So today what I wanted to do is I wanted to make this video comparing Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 2, comparing it directly with the PlayStation 3 remaster. So originally this game ran at I think it was like 360i at like 30 frames per second, and the remaster runs at 1080p 60 frames per second. So this is all running on real hardware in real time, so there's no trickery here or anything like that. This is all just as pure can get. So we're going to start with the PlayStation 2 version, of course. So I want you to keep those loading times in mind as well. So here we are on planet Metropolis, and as you can see, it looks fairly grainy. So we're just going to run around here, get a good feel for everything here. So there's definitely a little bit of, it's definitely not running at 60 frames per second. And obviously it's definitely not 1080p. But one of the things I wanted to point out is that if you're a big Ratchet and Clank fan, that the PS3 is actually probably your best bet. Because the PlayStation 3 has all four of the PlayStation 2 releases fully remastered 1080p with improved audio and visual fidelity as well. It's still the same textures, but the enhancements that were made were absolutely stunning. And this PS2 is actually using the original cables, the red, yellow, and white component cables that came with the system. So obviously, in this day and age, it does not look good on a flat screen TV. So the PS3 version of it is optimized for newer TVs. So that's a good reason to get the PS3 version of the Ratchet and Clank games. You can get all three of the original trilogy fully remastered in 1080p 60 frames per second, and as well as Ratchet Deadlocked Remastered, as well as the sequels, which were Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction and Ratchet and Clank A Crack in Time. And it looks and sounds great on the PS3. And there are some minor glitches here and there, but it's actually a really solid collection. So the PS3 is actually a really good option. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to the PlayStation 3 version of the game, and we're going to go ahead and directly compare it with what I just showed here for the footage. Okay, so here we are on the PlayStation 3, and before you begin, if you're on a PS3 and you have an HD TV, which who the hell doesn't in 2018, you're going to want to go ahead and go into your settings menu of your PS3 and your XMB dashboard. You're going to click settings, video output settings, HDMI. I hope to God you're using an HDMI with your PS3. You're going to go ahead and deselect 1080i and 720p. Now this is going to force the game to run at 1080p, which there's not a lot of games on PS3 that run 1080p, But usually you don't have to have these deselected. As a matter of fact, usually you're going to want to have these selected, because otherwise, if the game doesn't support 1080p, you're going to be running the game at 480p. Okay, and obviously that's not going to look very good. So the reason you're going to you have to deselect 1080i and 720p is because Ratchet & Clank actually has 3D support. And this was back in the era when Sony was really pushing the whole 3D bullshit that they had going on. So usually if you're running 3D on your 3D TV or whatever, it couldn't run 1080p 60 frames per second plus the 3D support. So they made the compromise of 1080p, and the 3D TVs ran basically 720p for the 3D support, and I believe it was 30 frames per second as well, so it was pretty taxing on the PS3, which isn't really surprising. But so basically, deselecting these two will make the game run at 1080p. And why it couldn't have just ran this at the default anyway if you didn't have the 3D thing enabled, I really don't know. But I don't really know a whole lot about 3D TVs, because who the hell cares? They were a bust. So you're going to want to go ahead and confirm 1080p, and you're going to want to click finish. Alright, so now the game is going to be forced to run at 1080p. That's something that Digital Foundry kind of screwed up on, but I don't really blame them, because like I said, there's not a whole lot of games that run 1080p on the PS3. So you're going to go ahead and fire up the game after you've done that. And keep in mind that after you're done with that, you're going to want to reselect 720p and 1080i. That way, if the game doesn't run at 1080p and you play it, you're not going to be running the game at 480p. So, yeah, you're definitely going to want to do that. So already, just from starting the game, you can already see that even the text on the screen looks sharper. And even the logo screen looks better as well. And look at that. It's like somebody just cleaned up the image 150%. Already, it looks 100 times better, and we haven't even started the game yet. Look at the loading screen. You can see a lot more stars in space. And just to show you proof that it is running at 1080p, as you can see on my TV right there, 1080p resolution. There you go. So we're on the same exact level as I was running on the PS2 version. And look at how much sharper the game looks. The game looks a whole lot better, doesn't it? The game feels better, and it also sounds better as well. Definitely runs a lot smoother, and it sounds a lot better as well. It's amazing how much better the game looks and sounds. I couldn't make this up. I love doing comparisons like this, man, because it's astounding to me how far technology has come in just 10 years. I mean, it's just amazing. It really is. I don't know how else to put it. It feels so good. It feels so smooth compared to the PS2 version. It's a night and day difference. The PS3 is a great option for Ratchet & Clank fans, because even the PS4 only has like, what, one Ratchet & Clank game for it? And I mean, let's go back to the PS2 version and compare this side by side. Well, not side by side, but let's directly compare it in real time. So there's no trickery going on here. Couldn't make this up. Notice how the audio quality took a dip as well? Not just video. The audio takes a dip when you get rid of the better quality cables as well. Quite impressive. So, which one would you rather play it on? Now, I'm not saying that the PS2 version of it is bad, because for the time, I mean, if you're playing the game on a CRT TV, it actually doesn't look that bad. But on a flat screen TV, oh my gosh, it really does show its age when you're not playing it on the right TV and with the right cables and whatnot. So, if you're a Ratchet and Clank fan and you're living in the modern times with a flat screen TV, get a PS3. Even if you don't like the PS3, you can get all the Ratchet and Clank games for it, except for obviously the one on the PS4, which it's debatable if that's a good game in the series or not anyway. But I just wanted to make this comparison video because this honestly blew my mind when I saw this and was comparing it for myself. It was just a night and day difference, and it truly is like a generational leap when you're seeing this. So I just want to make this video showing this because it's really great. I really enjoy making these comparisons and things like that. I'm going to be doing more in the future, so what do you guys think about this? I mean, this collection came out in 2012, and the original game came out in 2002. So this is just 10 years of improvement. And like I said, even the texture work I'm pretty sure is exactly the same. It's just that the image was just completely cleaned up as well as the audio. And it just really brought it to life. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you found this to be information to be useful. And like I said, if you are playing this on the PS3, don't forget to change your video settings back to 720p and 1080i support as well. So that's it. Have a good one.